Good afternoon, meat suits. Welcome back to Read and Weep, a podcast about movies and friendship. This is Season 5, Kevin Bacon's Exquisite Corpse, and we are just four hench clowns playing a very long movie-watching game. I'm your host, Alex Falcone. I'm recording today from lovely Denver, Colorado, where I am visiting my sister's dog. The rest of her family is also here. Ezra, what the heck is that?
This is the game that me and Hunter are playing.
No, you guys are... I can't keep both screens alive. Okay, yeah. Anyway, there's a special gag going on for the YouTube viewers at youtube.com/Alex
that's who we care about, okay? Podcast viewers, you're over. YouTube viewers, that's what we're about.
This is the thing that almost every show that starts doing video stuff does, is like, especially if they
audio gets
live,
worse.
Yeah, it's just like everything is a reaction for the 6 people watching it, and then not for the thousands of people listening. Anyway,
It's like premium listeners, except they're not paying us anymore, so it's
but
just the same.
theoretically, we could make ad money from that in the long run, which we can't from this. I mean, we could, I guess, theoretically, but we haven't. Anyway, I'm in Denver hanging out with the dog. I'm joined today from Southeast Portland. He's at Anthony Lopez Part 2 on Twitter. He's got violent mood swings. He's highly intelligent, emotionally unstable. Aptitudes include science, chemistry, and art. It's Anthony Lopez.
Never rub another man's rhubarb, Alex. I don't know how many times I gotta tell you that. Here's also my... it's missing its fins, but for the YouTube viewing audience, it's a very dusty Tim Burton the Batman Lego set.
Oh, look at that!
Hell
That
yeah.
is super cool.
That is pretty
That
cool.
rules.
Yeah, it shoots. Even does
It
it shoot the
doesn't
thing out of the
have
front?
It's supposed to. It doesn't work anymore. It also, unfortunately, doesn't have the classic Batman thing of, having bombs that can level entire factories, killing hundreds of employees at a time.
That
Which
was
is a
wild
shame.
And
because
also a special balloon clipper. It's got a variety of
That's on
toys.
the bat plane. That's on the plane.
Oh, that was on the plane. You're
Every
right. Sorry.
Every plane has a balloon clipper.
Balloon
what
clipper,
happens
yeah.
if you're
Cheers.
flying
Plane
your
cheers.
plane and you look at the clock and you're like, oh my God, it's Thanksgiving Day. The parade is happening. And I'm going
And
to
you
fly
wanna
all these
set
fucking
Snoopy free.
balloons. Yeah. So that's standard, man. Ever since the Macy's Thanksgiving accident of '86.
Yeah,
all
it's a
planes
federal requirement.
have
It's an FAA requirement
it,
for
yeah.
safety reasons. Yeah, but the car is the one that has the bombs. You're right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, the car is the bomb, which is just irresponsible.
Also joining us, he's the co-host of Old Gamers Almanac, the podcast. He's from the woods of Brooklyn, New York, and he's of a mind to make some mookie. It's Hunter Donaldson.
Haven't done that in a while.
That's a good bit. It's like a callback.
Yeah.
This
Callback
Batman
to an
mostly
earlier
just
era.
talked like Bruce Wayne. He didn't.
Yeah, Batman mostly just said, I'm Batman.
And he,
That's
yeah,
really
Well, I mean,
all.
it's an arms race, he takes his voice one octave lower for Batman, so
Right.
the next Batman had to take it another octave lower.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
You
it's
have
just
to-
now we're just in this
Right.
bat
Yeah, and
voice arm
eventually
race.
it will actually be, no joke, something like this.
That's what Zack Snyder did. His Ben Affleck's Batman has a voice modulator on it.
Right.
So we're
right.
already there.
Ugh.
it
Your
can loop back
prediction-
around though, right?
Yeah.
Like go back around to where it's just we get the high
All right,
voice.
fine. No.
Batman.
It'll be, no. Sorry. That wasn't enough. Okay, here
where
we
are
go.
the
Here we
other
go. Here's
drugs
what it'll be.
going? Swear to me.
Is that enough?
No,
I
that's
think
pretty
that's
tough.
enough.
And then it would loop back. We were doing a different bit. Also joining us to round out the panel today, he's in Northern California. He's a thief and a terrorist, but on the other hand, he has a nice singing voice. It's Ezra Fox.
I think I want to apologize to everyone. I heard that the best way to podcast is to eat a peanut butter sandwich while you're doing it. We all heard this, so I'm testing it out on the show right now.
Oh, okay.
Oh, good.
In case your
Yeah.
voice
Well, it's
sounds
good for the-
sticky.
It's for the video too, because we want to get your lips moving while you talk. So it's like Mr. Ed.
Oh, yeah.
you
We're
know, you
doing
can't-
Ezra's voice. Ezra doesn't exist. Yeah, he can't talk,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
he
but
just chews peanut butter, and then we do the voice.
People have been complaining that Ezra's mouth hasn't been moving when he's talking, so we're gonna shove a bunch of peanut butter in his face.
It works really
to
well.
get those lips chomping.
Do you think Batman ever did peanut butter voice? Where it's like man, he
Where are
sounds
the
like he
drugs
has
going?
peanut butter somewhere. Swear to me.
I wish I had a
Avengers.
peanut butter knob on my mixer, but I don't. Huh?
Oh, yeah, it's a separate pedal, I think. Also,
wet mix.
Anthony, I just noticed that your name in our little recording studio says number one guy, and I can't believe I didn't think of that for one of the intros. That would be perfect. You're my number one guy.
Well, you
Never
you
forget
gotta.
that.
It only works with the visual of grabbing someone by the shoulders and going,
Right.
"You are my number one guy." I mean, this. I'm going to talk a lot about how much I love this movie, but this is, I think, one of the most quotable films ever made. Almost every scene has some line that I just love, even like down to like really good classic cinematic drama to some good jokes to wild stuff like you never rub another man's rhubarb.
Yeah,
which
that's
doesn't
really
make
good.
any sense,
It
but
doesn't.
it's just a line I fucking love so much. Just
There's
great
also-
alliteration.
It is. It really is. There's also a part where the jokester just goes hoop hoop for no reason.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting dialogue.
He's
this
unhinged.
Movie. Yeah.
Okay.
He says a lot of
He's
things. Not all
unhinged,
catchphrases
Alex, and
catch
that's how
on.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. You got to test a bunch of. You throw a lot of them at the wall.
Mhm.
All right. Before we get into this full day of Mr. Bats, we've got. I want to thank. First of all, I want to thank our fabulous meat buddies who keep the show going since our YouTube money has not yet rolled in. And I especially want to thank Gabriel, who we'll be hearing a little bit more about later in the show.
Good
If you'd like to, what?
Good name. I like. Does
Gabriel?
he actually go by Gabriel, or does he like that? That's what he said. His name was?
He said Gabriel, and he said pronounced like Gabe, so he uses that as so you don't call him Gabrielle, which I for sure would have. Yeah, but he seems to go by Gabriel, and I my tendency, my gut is to like always want to shorten people's names for them, and I don't think if you say Gabriel, I should say Gabriel back. So I'm going to do my best.
Wait a
Yeah,
second.
exactly.
Alex.
I respect as an Anthony who
Yeah.
hates when people I don't know call me Tony. Really bugs me.
Well, okay, so it's interesting you say that it's about people you don't know, because I feel like calling you Tony is a thing that only your closest friends do, and I've I don't do it very often, but everyone, I'm like, when I do, I'm like, am I there yet? Am I allowed to do this yet?
I've been afraid to, Alan, honestly, because
Right?
like in our Discord, like your handle has Tony in it. I'm like,
Yeah.
have I been doing this wrong the whole time? I'm like, I'm just gonna stick it how it is. I'm
Yeah.
not changing it.
But your wife
No.
refers to you as Tony all the time.
Yeah,
And-
that bitch.
Tony all the
Fucking-
time.
Stop it.
Tony all the time.
Actually, Tony all the
Tony
time is
all
a
the
pretty
time.
solid nickname.
Hey,
all the
that's
time.
Tony all the time.
Anyway, we should go back to Gabriel all the time, who donated to the
What
show.
about two-time Tony? What about that?
That's good alliteration.
One time Tony,
Yeah.
number one guy Tony.
I mean, 3-time Tony has the 3 T's, but it's not really an alliteration because one of them
Are you thinking
soft.
Tony
Yeah.
Tony? The
Anyway,
band?
if
Tony,
you would
Tony,
like
Tony?
if you would like to join Gabriel and all the time Tony in supporting our show and keeping it limping down the tracks, you can go to Metreon.com, where we are we're almost wrapping up. It's getting towards the end of Double Guilt May, as you know. Anybody who donated to the show during the month of May gets double guilt for not having donated sooner. And so if you really want, which has proved much more popular than I expected, we have a real puritanical country. A lot of people here, I think the guilt feels good. So if you want to join them in that double guilt, this is your last chance this week. What did we say next month was? I didn't write this down. What's June?
Could it be like Jealousy June, where we're like,
Oh, we definitely
I just feel
had
like it's all the
something.
negative emotion.
Somebody
I don't
who
know.
pays attention to the show should remind us what we said. I don't remember if it was
What month
triple
is it
guilt
in June?
June or if there was, because there was one month we were gonna maybe it was gonna reverse. Anyway, I don't remember. Yeah, it could be Jealousy June.
I think next month should be Mulligan June. All right, you
Well,
get
Mulligan.
Where if you donated, we
Yeah.
give you your money back because you
no,
shouldn't have.
just you get one free pass of no guilt, right? So you
Wait.
could do something. Does that make sense?
How's that different
Yeah.
from
No,
the other one that we did?
Yeah.
Wait,
Because
can we just watch only
don't-
Carey Mulligan movies? in
Okay.
Mulligan June?
Why would
But
we
it's
not do Mulligan May and then do Mulligan,
Mulligan
June
March.
Oh,
for the
we gotta
worst?
take over May now. We got May again. So Mulligan June is actually May again.
Is this good content? Anyway, Metreon.com. We really. Oh, that's very
Ezra
funny.
got us
Yeah, you
there.
got it
Ezra
there.
figured it out.
Yeah, you can go to Metreon.com. We really appreciate everybody who supports the show. Okay, before we start, Bats, I want to do a quick news segment. You guys know what we're talking about. This is my favorite story of the week, which has been mostly an absolute shit week all over. And but This originally, I posted this in
A
our
rare miss for 2022.
Yeah.
It's so true. But everybody was like, we were talking in our Discord about how everyone was kind of bummed, and so I sent this out mostly to make Anthony feel better. And I did not expect it to perk you up as much as it did. This worked better than I could have ever imagined. So this is a story from a couple days ago. Seth Green, as you may have heard from previous news reporting on this, created a TV show around his collection of NFTs. But then this week, that show is in jeopardy because his apes were gone. Someone stole them. Someone stole his apes, you guys. Seth Green,
Yes.
who you know as the creator of Robot Chicken and Mr. Evil's Son, tweeted that he'd clicked on a phishing scam this week, and bad guys stole his bored ape, his 2 mutant apes, and a doodle. And I know that's funny enough already, but because anytime someone's apes are gone, that's good. That's good content. But then it's especially funny this time because Seth was making a live action TV show, sort of like a Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where NFTs just live in Brooklyn with him. And Bored Ape number 8398 was going to be the star of this show as a bartender, but there was a monkeypox on the production because the NFTs, like his ugly monkeys, it turns out some NFTs, like these ugly monkeys, grant the owner the right to use them commercially in art. And now that someone else owns them, specifically a thief, it would be copyright infringement to put out his show. Anyway, what a mess. What a hilarious mess, right?
I don't really like... I'm going to say this. I feel like this is all slanderous. I don't think of that person as a thief because... and I would say anyone that would describe someone as stealing an NFT from someone does not fundamentally understand NFTs. That supposed thief is just the new owner of that NFT. That's how it works. It's a libertarian paradise, baby. It is
I mean,
now.
I believe that is
finders keepers.
I believe that is the official motto of the person who now owns that ape, which actually great news. If you're going to steal an ape, this one just got way more famous. So as far as scams go.
The F in NFT stands for finders keepers. So
yes. Non-finders. Well, no, but then it can't be
No, non-fungible is now it's all the same thing.
Oh, wait, non-fungible, finders keepers, tokens.
You ever hear a pitch out of Hollywood and you're like, I don't know, Seth Green never came off to me as a guy who really loves cocaine. But then you hear that he's making a show about NFTs and it's like, there's no way that didn't come out of like just doing lines of coke.
So I will suggest,
5 in the morning.
My opinion on this is a little different. That's one possibility. My theory is that this is just straight up a scam because NFTs are so NFTs already scam. But then he's doing his own scam where he's like, if I make a TV show about this thing that I bought for an absurd price, now it's a TV star that you can own. So now it will be very important for either like the studio who wants to keep making the show has to buy my ape from me, or it would be worth more on the open market of libertarian paradise. So I do think that he was just like, look, I wasted money on this ugly monkey picture, but I can get my money back and then some if I make an unfunny television show about it.
Right.
It's mind-blowing because Seth Green, for all of his work, specifically what he's probably most well known for now is he did 15 seasons of a show that is entirely based around taking Walt Disney action figures and making them do crazy things. And that was totally legal. He tries to make a show about NFTs and immediately runs up against a brick wall.
That's such a good point.
It's roundabout karma, right?
Yeah, he can
yes, right. This is what he deserved, but not from whom he deserved it.
Yeah, he on a Robot Chicken, he could have Walt Disney blowing Bumblebee while fucking the Wizard of Oz watches in the corner. No problem. Completely okay. The law protects
Pause
him.
for a quick second. Anthony, Wizard of Oz was definitely watching from behind a curtain.
The curtain.
From behind a curtain.
Yeah.
Continue.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
King,
yes.
for sure.
But he likes to watch his wife Bumblebee get cucked. It's like his favorite thing.
Well, I didn't know I got married. Congratulations.
Also, technically, the wizard is the one getting cucked, Anthony.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Sorry.
There's another room where another thing's happening somewhere else.
Okay, I see.
It's a pretty complicated sex setup. This is how I feel watching Robot Chicken. Is I always feel like there's a lot going on here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the guy built an Emerald Palace to trick people. You know.
This is what I'm saying. Everything was so sad, and then we thought about Seth Green's monkeys being stolen, and it just makes things better.
Alex, can I please make it canon that from now on, anytime you make a list of anything, you have to add on and a doodle at the end of it, because that was the funniest part to me. Where it's like,
I mean, I have heard of the Bored Ape Yacht Club, and I think it is the dumbest, but I have not heard of either of these other two, the other ape or the doodle. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I like the doodle. I feel like the doodle, I mean, obviously they won't get it now, but the doodle, that doodle number 7546 should have gotten their own show. I feel like way more charisma.
Oh, you think the breakout star for sure?
Oh, absolutely was Doodle 7546. I would definitely take that over Bored Ape 8398.
You know, a lot of our listeners, I'm sure, are really cool. But I just know anytime we talk about like NFTs or crypto, there's at least one person who's just fucking fuming right now. Like, you guys don't understand the future.
I do wonder about that. I've trashed crypto and NFTs on multiple platforms now. I talked some shit on TikTok, and there were people who were like, I had one person who was like, I do a podcast about Bitcoin because that's real, but NFTs are a joke, and we hate that. So like, I've had surprisingly little pushback, and I went on a long rant about NFTs because I on our Top Chef podcast, Pack Your Mics, a couple weeks ago, and I expected to get at least one person to be like, come on, man, just focus on food or whatever. But people were very supportive. I think the crypto scammers are louder, but they are definitely the minority.
Well, I think they've all made their money and gotten out already. Like, we're just talking about this thing, and it's basically over. Like, it's going to be done. The only people jumping on ship at this point are people like Seth Green, essentially.
When there's a pyramid scheme that can afford the naming rights for a basketball stadium, you are no longer at the skinny part of the pyramid where everyone makes money. You're down at the fat part of the pyramid where like we're literally running out of people to keep this scam going.
Right.
We're going to run out of humans.
When is Matt Damon and Larry David going to have to answer for their crimes?
I seriously think about. I do think that like that Larry David thing is one of the most embarrassing things that I've seen a celebrity advertise.
Is way worse, I think.
Matt Damon has more integrity.
Remember the Larry David one? Matt Damon's?
Well, Matt Damon's whole ad campaign is so offensive. It's like Matt Damon really walking through this museum that has the guys who designed the pyramids, Galileo, Columbus, the great astronaut, the Apollo 11, the Apollo 11,
the greatest minds, Columbus.
It's like Apollo 11 people. It's like all these explorers, and it's like, you want to be an explorer like them, right?
You want to be losing your savings.
Yeah, so invest in crypto. His whole thing, it's like it's got this real like, kind of masculine, like you're a pussy if you don't own a bunch of crypto kind of vibe. The Matt Damon
that seems to be the one that's working. That seems like the most effective one. Because the Larry David one was like, oh, did you miss the crypto bubble, you idiot?
Yeah.
And I like that too, because it's like, look, all the people who you're getting to now, you're aiming at people who are afraid of being idiots. Like it's not the people now who like understand how it works. The only way to expand the pyramid to a next level is to get people in who are like, I just don't want to miss out.
Alex, are you saying that this isn't going to work because we're out of idiots? Because that doesn't seem like the most I would
right.
I feel like there's always more.
The thing is, Ezra. The thing is, it's a small Venn diagram of idiots and people with at least 10 grand to burn.
Yeah, that's true.
That's you gotta have both of those things. Like my favorite things on crypto. Whenever you read stories, to someone is like, for my 10-year anniversary, I got my wife NFT picture, and now she's really angry with me and won't talk to me. And I'm trying to explain to her how it's an investment and how this is good for us, but she doesn't get it. Is my wife being unreasonable? That's my favorite.
Yeah, stuff. The am I the asshole posts where the answer is so clearly yes from the first sentence.
But I mean, going back to the Matt Damon, Larry David thing, I just, do you guys remember? I hate to be like the good old days guys because everything always sucked. But do you remember when it was gauche and like celebrities went to Japan to do commercials because they were too embarrassed to do them in the States? Like I never thought, and I'm so glad like sellout culture is not really a big thing. Like, hey, get your money. But the way that has shifted so hard, and now people who are like Matt Damon, it's just all about Larry David in particular. Larry, you don't need the money, Larry.
Yeah.
You're the richest man maybe to ever live. I don't like. What do you do?
Yeah,
What?
right. What does
Why
Larry
are
David
you
want to
doing
buy
this?
that he can't buy
Right,
this week?
that he
And
can't
was like,
buy
oh, I
already.
probably should take the gig.
I think
I
it's
wish he
real.
would tell us. Actually, it would be more like responsible, and also
So
he could get away with
interesting.
telling us. Yeah,
Yeah.
if he would just say like, "Hey, I did that because I wanted to buy," and then he shows a picture of like, I don't know,
Or
a spaceship.
Yeah.
if you're a celebrity and you do a crypto ad, you should solely get paid in crypto.
Yeah,
That
you have to.
should
If
be
you're gonna
your
buy
thing,
in, you have
yeah.
to believe in it.
Great news, Anthony, because all of the emails I get from people trying to get me to like hawk their crypto product are offering to pay me exclusively in crypto. So
Lovely.
that is definitely that's what the crypto people want as well.
Can we do
I
this?
want you in on the scam.
Can we do all these?
No, we can't.
Can we do them all at once?
We can go to Japan and do them.
Yeah.
Great.
Where
Will
we're
they fly us?
less
I've always
embarrassed.
wanted to go to Japan.
Look, I sort of
Yeah.
feel like with ads, I don't feel like, you're a sellout if you're like, oh, this movie star is driving this car. And I know the car's not as good as, Baby Driver is saying it is in this moment or whatever.
Sure.
And like when there's like, oh yeah, you're like out on your lawn in a Scott's lawn care commercial, whatever. I feel nothing about the celebrity that way. This and the two that really bug me are this one and the sports gambling stuff. Because those websites are also very scammy. But those are the ones where I'm like, you could afford to say no. Larry David could afford to say no and then do still a Super Bowl commercial. Like someone else will hire Larry David if you're like on the market for a Super Bowl commercial. It's weird.
He probably got scammed. Like, is that fair to
He
say?
got-
Is it
he
fair to
got-
say
he-
that maybe Larry David is maybe just a little uninformed on this, and
Interesting.
somebody vaguely told
someone
him
fished
about it?
the Larry David
old.
NFT and cast it in this ad.
Someone stole Larry David. Yeah. Whoever owns Larry
No,
David.
it's not stealing. There's no such thing as
fair
stealing
enough.
in
The
crypto.
rightful owner of Larry
Okay?
David.
Yeah, the rightful owner, finders keepers. Okay,
Well, so we'll see. This is the longest I think we've shed on crypto on this program. So we'll see if we get some weird bros in the comments on this one.
yeah.
I'm
Bring it
I'm
on.
still Crypt Pro. I love this. I want more crypts and more O's. I want a
Love
Cheerio crossover.
I mean, I've said this before, I think, but it is funny when crypto people buy crypto because there's you don't have to feel bad when it goes bad. But
Right.
now that it is at the level of Super Bowl commercials and stadium names and stuff, there are some like well-meaning idiots who are losing money, and that feels less fun.
That is a bummer. I don't know how to stop this, and so I'm trying not to feel bad about it. That's where I'm at.
So that makes sense. You're projecting to avoid having to deal with it. Okay, well let's wrap up this ridiculous ugly monkey thing and talk about some very realistic bat people. We're gonna do the game. It's time for segment 2 of the game. This week we're talking about Batman, the 1989 superhero film based on the Detective Comics character of the same name. This is the first installment of the Warner Brothers' initial Batman universe, which encompasses 5 movies and 3 Batmen. This one was directed by Tim Burton.
Way more than 5 Batman movies.
Well, no, but that original Warner Brothers, the
Yeah.
one in the late 80s, early 90s, was like 5 movies long with 3 different stars.
It's
Yeah, I
4
think it's
movies
4.
long.
Is it just 4? It's
3
4 movies and they still
3
had 3 Batmen? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's so silly. Anyway, okay, it's the first of 4.
Only one
This is
Commissioner Gordon, though.
initial run.
Yeah, and 1 Alfred.
Yeah.
Yep. Alfred stayed the same.
Yeah, presumably more affordable.
Never change, Alfred.
I don't know, Alfred freaked me out in this one a little bit. Directed by Tim Burton, starring Jack Nicholson, and it's important to say that even though he's not Batman, because part of his contract was you always have to say his name first on this movie, and then also starring Michael Keaton, Kim Basinger, and most importantly for our purposes, Lee Wallace, who played the mayor of New York, and you may remember him from last week's movie where he played the mayor of New York in the
He's
Taking
the
of
mayor of
Pelham.
Gotham. in this.
Potato,
Eh.
potato.
And
Yeah.
Gotham was played by New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
But
all
yeah.
pretend we don't know what Gotham City means.
Well, no, Gotham was played by a soundstage in England.
That's
Okay.
true.
There's a difference.
It's a very soundstagey movie.
Yes,
so I
of
will
course,
say that is
'cause
a
it's
fair point.
Tim Burton. But yeah, so Gotham is playing the role of New York, and the soundstage is playing the role of Gotham, and a bunch of
Yes.
miniatures and a bunch of interesting Tim Burton-y things. So let me summarize for people. So this, I don't know if many people out there know the story of the Batman. It's kind of an obscure one. Yeah, let
Might
me
need,
just
might need a lot of summary here.
let me give you
Okay.
some summary of this movie in case you haven't heard about it or about him or the jokester. So this is it's a pretty tough story to follow, but let me see what I can do. Okay, so there's this city, and it is basically New York, and there's a lot of crime there because it was made in the 80s, and so there's just a lot of
Because
like,
it's basically 70s New York.
Right.
Okay.
yeah, like there's crime, but it's like, hey, that kind of crime.
Yeah.
And then there's also a thing happening at the beginning of this movie where this American oligarch dresses as a bat and he beats up criminals without returning any of the stuff they stole to the victims, even though they're right there. And then the head of the New York mob, he is like getting kind of mad. He's getting worried. He's running things, but he's afraid of getting caught. And also he's mad because Jack Nicholson is sleeping with his lady friend. So he sets up Jack Nicholson to get caught by the cops and or murdered. And then something. Instead of getting arrested, Batman
Neither
pushes
caught
him
nor murdered.
into a vat of chemicals. Because Batman, I was under the impression Batman does not kill, but he loves killing people in this movie.
Oh yeah, he kills.
I
He
mean,
kills
yeah.
in this one.
Big
If he
fan of
doesn't
killing.
kill, it's accidentally
I mean,
he didn't kill. He definitely tried to.
Here's
Oh yeah,
Here's the
yeah. He
thing.
manslaughters for sure, all over the place.
the thing about this movie, and especially a lot of people, as you know, comic book films have changed so much. A lot of people kind of complain that this movie, like, it's not a good Batman movie, and I do think on a certain level, this is not a very good Batman movie if you look at what the character of Batman represents and kind of the rules
Sure.
he has. But the way
Mhm.
I interpret this movie, and the reason why I love this movie so much, that if you don't think of this movie as like a Batman movie and think of it more as this movie about this spree killer who dresses up as a bat and fights a psychotic clown with a bunch of great Prince and Danny Elfman music, then
Yeah.
this fucking movie owns. This
Yeah,
movie
Yeah.
is
totally
so good. If you just imagine imagine like Tim Burton at the height, and he made this movie about this fucking lunatic who dresses up like an animal, and there's a bunch of really good Prince songs in it.
Yeah.
And he just murks people
All the
constantly.
time.
Yeah. Right.
Then this movie rules. This
So he
movie
sets
owns
out.
so
he does
hard
his
at
best
that.
job to murk Jack Nicholson. He just throws him into a vat of chemicals, but instead
Well,
of
he-
drowning,
he
Okay, I
tries
think
to
he
save
slips.
him.
No, slips his hand. Like he's like. I
Yeah.
think he was holding on to him. I don't think he dropped him intentionally.
No, he
Slippery
tried
No,
to
he
save
doesn't-
him.
he
he
doesn't
held
drop.
on outside to this woman he was sleeping with for an hour on the edge of a church steeple for an
Okay,
hour.
okay.
He couldn't hold on to
Okay.
Jack Nicholson for
He
30
didn't have
seconds.
the same gusto with
Yeah.
Jack
Yeah.
Nicholson.
This is what I'm
okay?
saying.
It doesn't make him evil.
Right. So we should
doesn't
not
make
say
him evil.
Batman does not murder people. He repeatedly manslaughters people through lack of attention to detail or shooting a bomb into a factory full of people and letting the chips fall where they may.
I love that the
Batman
bomb
in
factory
Batman Returns definitely kills people. That
Oh, yeah.
Batman fucking loves murdering people. This one is a little kind of on the fence about.
He's still on the
it,
fence
you
about
know?
it. Well, so instead of drowning or getting cancer, like most people would who fall into a vat of chemicals and stay down forever, these chemicals just cause Jack Nicholson to have permanent clown makeup and infinite free time to make thematic murder weapons and get custom tailored garish suits.
Yeah,
Okay.
and luckily now the clown makeup is explained, which is good.
Yeah.
I did like that. I
Well,
had an
he
issue.
also has incredible
If
managerial
he had just shown up with the
skills.
clown makeup on, you'd be like, I need an explanation. Why? Where did he get that?
I mean,
How does he have that?
This is one of the things that's just constantly hilarious to me about superhero movies, about good guys and bad guys, and their dedication to theme and branding is
Oh yeah.
the jokester's dedication to branding is unrivaled, where every gas mask is custom made and colored
Yep.
to be a jokester gas mask.
It's a lot of work.
Every
All
It's
of
a
his
lot of
lighter-
work.
henchmen,
The
all
henchmen
of
are
his
all
henchmen have matching coats with little
Yeah.
Joker faces
Yeah, with
on
little
them.
Joker
Look, I need to jump in on the
Yeah.
henchmen because that's my issue. All right.
Well, we're gonna talk about the henchmen.
I love the
Well,
swag
Hey,
for the henchmen.
don't you dare
but-
talk shit about Bob. One, he's my number
Bob-
one guy. And
Yeah,
two,
Yeah, Bob's my
he
number
Bob
one
is great.
guy.
awesome.
No question.
Bob
Bob is great.
is the fucking best in this movie.
And Bob was cast there because he was friends with Jack Nicholson, which is
Yeah.
great.
Oh, he was Jack Nicholson's actual number one boy.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe, yeah. But here's my issue: none of the henchmen's weapons are on theme, and I have a real issue with that.
Oh,
It's just like
they just had regular
there's-
guns.
or it's like ninja sword. It's like it makes no sense. It's like this is like
The
they didn't have a
ninja
chance
sword
to-
made the least sense. No, the swords attached to their feet. That the knife feet guy. That was the guy that was like, who hired that guy? Like,
It was an open casting call. They had shirts and jackets for everyone. They did not have everything for everyone. It's like, well, BYO weapon.
as a guy who works in Silicon Valley, you definitely have an appreciation for company coats. You get a nice
Yeah.
branded jacket from the company. You're keeping that.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, they're one of my favorites. I got a jacket, but then we were in the middle of a rebrand, and so they couldn't put a label on it yet, and so they gave us an optional iron-on thing later.
So
that
you
we
just
never
got a
put
good
on.
jacket with nobody's
got a good
brands
jacket.
on it.
Yeah.
What a great deal. You could just wear that jacket. Yeah, they had these
Yeah.
big puffer coats with the logos on it. Also, he like custom painted his logo on a helicopter. And this is like a couple days after he fell in the vat of acid. So every second that we're not watching Jack Nicholson, he is on the phone to a supplier in China who's like, yeah, I can get you a lighter that shoots flames 4 feet long and is in your purple color scheme. Just send me the X digits for the color so we make sure we get it right.
So I was looking at your catalog and I see you have this little hand buzzer. I like it. Can we put a more powerful battery in there?
Can we put
Like,
an
no,
electric
we need a more
chair-sized
powerful.
battery?
I think-
inside
I
my
think
little hand buzzer?
The acid vat also had that limitless pill that Bradley Cooper took and made him really, really smart, and just like gave
Yeah.
him all the free time to unlock like all. That's what was going on in the acid vat.
I
Since we were
want to have buy this handgun, but I feel like the barrel's a little short by
Longer,
3
please.
feet?
Longer.
I feel like he was doing all that stuff. I feel like it was kind of arts and crafts.
Yeah, we
for him,
saw
'cause
him
there's
in
this
there
scene-
doing pasting and
He was an artist.
He was
Mood
collaging.
collaging.
There's a
The
scene. There's a
world's-
scene where Jack Nicholson is there, and it cuts to this like above shot, and you realize
Yeah.
he's just been collaging all day.
He
and
is
that's
the world's
Tim Burton
first
Batman story
Yeah.
for you.
homicidal artist. He says it.
Homicidal, yeah.
My favorite part about the henchmen is that they are like wearing these like the coats. They're like defacing art. They're dancing to big boom boxes. Like, I wonder if any of them were on the job where they were like looking at each other while they're like dancing on a cake with throwing money in the crowd, and they're like, "Is this what I got into this for?"
I think some people
Like,
are.
I don't know. I was kinda hoping to,
what I got
like-
this for.
Yeah, I mean, some of them were thrilled, but some of them were probably like, "What has become of me?" You know, I got
Yeah.
into this business to like threaten people if they don't pay me money. I'm not a dancer. I don't spray
I've been in-
paint.
inflating
No.
goddamn balloons for the last 6
Right,
hours. That's
right.
not what
Yeah,
I
can't we
signed
hire a
up for.
balloon company? Why are we doing this ourselves? I'm a
No,
Why
knife
are we
flipper.
giving away money? A whole thing is taking money. That's why I do this.
That's what I
Is to take money
Okay.
from people, not to
So
give
here's-
money to people. This is insane.
Someone else is like, "No, man, this is how it works. It's a
Mm.
new world of henchmen out there, man. If you don't do it, someone else will. This is now you give money to get money. It's how it goes."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's volume. It's a volume business. That's why it'll work.
Right, we
Um,
lose money on each product, but we make it up on volume.
Here's the thing though. I think the henchmen, like I think these are like lifers basically, and so it's like, oh, there's a new villain. Okay, great. I'll swap out all the logos, right? It's like, okay,
Oh,
you know what
yeah.
us to do, right? Like now it's like little like like chatter like a teeth thing, no problem. And then just like then it's like, okay, now he's dead after the week, and it's like, okay, great, Mr. Freeze, what do you want, right? And they just like swapping them, right? It's just it's the same
Yeah, like a
henchmen.
big part of the job is being able to work with whatever boss comes into town.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
These are
That's how you roll
union
it.
henchmen. They've been doing this for 30 years.
Oh yeah.
The henchman cracked me up in this movie. Let me finish the plot though. Okay, so now
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, so he's got his suits and his clown makeup. Now he's calling himself the Jokester, and Mr. Jokes, he goes out, he kills a few people, he poisons some acne cream, he holds a mini parade, and he becomes obsessed with Batman's girlfriend because in New York, 8 million people out there, but only one woman. I don't know why. We see there's only one woman in this whole movie, and it's Jokester and Batman are both in love with this
Well,
woman.
He has a type, which also coincidentally is the type of every male character in every Tim Burton movie, like a attractive, tall, blonde woman, which is like literally in every single one of Tim Burton's movies, and that is what all of his real life or his like famously at this time his girlfriend looked like. And then his women in his movies kind of started to look like Helen Bonham Carter when he started like dating her. But it's very much like this is like his type. He pits this archetype in his movies a lot, you know?
So I believe that that's what's going on partially, but also, people who live in New York, they say this all the time. It's basically a small town, because not only are they in love with the same woman, but also the jokester happens to be the guy who, as a child, killed Batman's parents in the most famous movie death of all time that we've all seen a million times from different Batman movies.
Yep.
What are the odds? Same guy. There's so many henchmen out there. There's so many. It's a crime-filled, riddled city. Happens to be the same guy.
Do you guys know the story behind that? That twist in it?
No.
So that was there were two things in this movie. So this movie is obviously directed by Tim Burton. It's directed by the Peters, Peter Berg and John Peters. John Peters, you might know if you've seen Licorice Pizza. The character Bradley Cooper plays in that. It's John Peters. He started out as Barbra Streisand's hairdresser.
Oh, it's that guy?
Yes,
right.
He became a producer. He is probably most famous for Kevin Smith's Superman story. Which, if you guys don't know the story, he was the producer on Superman, and when Kevin Smith got hired to write Superman, John Peters had 3 rules for him. 1, no suit. 2, no flying. And 3, in the third act, Superman needs to fight a giant spider.
Wow.
Apparently,
visionary. I like this guy.
Yes. Apparently, this giant spider was John Berg's like white whale. He tried to pit it in almost all of his movies. And if you saw
those rules sound like a guy who bought a giant spider for another project and hasn't found a use for it yet. It's like just up space in the garage.
Spider idea.
If you guys remember another movie John Peters produced called Wild Wild West, with Will Smith fighting a giant spider. So
and he's not wearing a Superman suit, and he doesn't fly, so it's perfect.
But John Peters is kind of a crazy Hollywood producer, very famous. But famously on this movie, they gave Tim Burton a lot of control, but there was like sort of 2 things that he didn't know. One, this Joker killing Batman's parents, they shot that without Tim Burton even knowing about it. He just came to set one day and there was like a bunch of crew there. And like, oh yeah, the Peters had to shoot something. And it was that scene. And he was like, we need it to be more personal. And then the second famous thing is this movie that was already wildly over budget, running long. They had an idea for the ending, but John Peters wanted the end in a cathedral. So he spent $100,000 of this film's budget to build this cathedral set and then told Tim Burton, that's where your movie's going to end. Figure it out.
Well, and it does, and it is probably, besides that twist about the jokester, this is the dumbest part, is the ending in the cathedral.
The 2 really noticeable Peters contributions to this movie.
Interesting.
Easily the dumbest pose to it. But yeah, imagine
I got a giant spider and half a cathedral in my garage, and I need to figure out how to use them.
We are using it. Okay.
So apparently the whole filming of the cathedral, like Jack Nicholson was just like, why am I walking up these stairs? This is so dumb.
It's one of the longest stair-walking scenes that I've ever seen, and all you know is that at the end of this day, Batman, the jokester, and their mutual girlfriend have amazing calves. Because that is a lot of stairs.
Yeah, they walk
I love that he walks up there, tells his helicopter to meet them, but for some reason, like 6 goons are already up there. Like, were they just chilling out? Did they
were at the top of every
building
just in case?
He has so many goons. He's got 6 on every building in New York.
Yeah.
And again, I gotta just I know I've already commented on it, but like, I don't know what New York you guys are hanging out in, but I've never been to this like 1930s German inspired Deco New York City, but I want to go to that New York City.
Yeah,
that
it's
New York
fun.
City seems so dope as hell.
I mean, it
does seem
looks
pretty cool.
dirty.
Yeah, but it looks cool.
Yeah,
in
it
like
looks
a film noir
that's-
cool way.
It's my favorite. One of my favorite things about this one, I think the new Batman, the Matt Reeves one, does it really well. Is that it really gives Gotham its own identity. Like the Nolan movies are very much like he's from Chicago, he loves
Yeah.
Chicago. Gotham is just Chicago in Nolan's
Yeah.
movies. That's where he shot most of it. The later Schumacher movies get really crazy with the Art Deco kind of thing. But this one and the new one both feel like Gotham feels like its own unique place. It doesn't just feel like a stand-in for another city. Like something I really love about this movie is like the Art Deco inspired Gotham that this film takes place in. It's so unique.
Well, so they're in this anyway. So Batman and let's just wrap this up. Batman and Jokey Jokes have some fights. They go back and forth. They use their toys. Batman uses his balloon cutter plane, and the jokester uses his anti-aircraft pistol that he keeps in his pants. Shoot down that plane, and then they go up the stairs of this church, and then they have a fight, and Batman wins, and that's the movie. That's Batman. Now you're all caught up.
Now do all the other Batman movies.
Yeah, now do them all.
Batman Returns. It's Christmas Day.
We did watch Ezra. Which one? Because we did back in the day. We did a pod crawl of the 80s, 90s Batman movies, and we watched the one with. Did we watch the one with Penguin or with Freeze, or are they the same movie?
I think it was Freeze, but I'm not
Batman
sure. Actually, I was even on
Returns.
this episode.
Batman
okay.
Returns is the one with Penguin. That's the other Tim Burton, Michael
I think you
Keaton
got Forever.
one. And then
I think we did do Forever.
Forever is the George
245.
Clooney Two-Face movie.
Oh.
The Riddler and Two-Face. Batman and
Mhm.
Robin is Mr. Freeze and not Catwoman.
Right.
Poison Ivy, played by Uma Thurman.
Okay, so this is our second effort at this trilogy that has 4 movies in it.
Quadrille. Yeah.
And
No, it's a trilogy with 4. Okay.
Yeah, it's the trilogy: Batman, Batman Returns, and Batman the Animated Series, which is basically the animated part 3 of these movies. You know.
Well, so I watched this series at the time, and so I have seen this before, which I did not remember till like 3/4 of the way through. I am not as enthusiastic as you guys are, obviously. I think Batman might be one of the dumbest characters of all time, and I could not care less about him. But the Tim Burtonness
This
of
movie
this
doesn't
is
care
very
about him
fun.
that much, Al.
Yeah,
To be
I
fair,
mean, that's
Alex, this
true.
movie doesn't
There's
really care
very
that
little
much.
Batman, which I like, and the jokester, who's also a really terrible character. Nicholson plays the shit out of him.
Yeah.
I think no one has ever made so much money having so much fun because he got like $60 million from this in $1989.
Yeah.
Because he had some back end, and I think
And
he
he
was
earned
like,
it
"I'm going to do
because
whatever I want."
He's what makes this movie work, I think.
Right.
Because it's a stupid character, and he is just so in it, and in a way that is fun, and not like some of the other jokesters later on are just like annoying. And this one was like, yeah, he's like the right kind of wacky that I want, but still like really likes killing people. So it's like it's what you want from a jokester.
Well, I mean, one of the things
Wacky
I
and
really
scary.
love about this movie, especially compared to like modern Batman movies, is, at the time we were all really young, but like growing up, it was always like this was, like the dark answer to like the Adam West Batman movies. It's kind of like the narrative, but like this is a movie in which
Adam
the
West won for
Joker
Batman.
kills someone. Joker kills someone with a pen and then says the pen is mightier than the sword, right?
Yeah.
This movie is as campy as the Adam West Batman.
Well,
movie.
yeah,
It's
totally.
as silly and ridiculous.
I was thinking about that
just a
because I
much
do think
darker
of
color palette.
It's the aesthetic, totally.
It's not a lot of light in the movie, but it definitely, this feels like a perfect transition between the one true Batman, Adam West, and Chris Nolan's like, what if Batman had no fun? And this is like, it is in the middle. It's dark, like it kills more people than Adam West, it's a little grittier. It's a gritty city, but it like is not full. It's not full Christian Bale. So it does feel like this was like leading this, like this is part of the slippery slope of Batman being.
It's one octave
unfun.
down, right?
Yes,
it's
exactly. One octave down on the voice changer. But he did remind me more of Adam West Batman than I had remembered. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I do love Michael Keaton's performance in this. I think this one of the things that these movies get that really none of the other ones get as well is like, Batman has like the Christian Bale or like the most recent ones. He's like very brooding and sad. I really love that Michael Keaton plays him like a fucking lunatic, especially in Returns. He's just kind of like this weirdo who doesn't know how to interact with people.
Yeah, he really
Mhm.
is like socially inept in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
it's very, very funny and charming to watch him like try to like just interact and sort of be a normal person. He really doesn't know how to do it. And I think he's really, really great. I do love the like, like this, like people there's a pretty big backlash when Robert Pattinson got cast as Batman. There was a huge backlash when Heath Ledger got cast as the Joker, if you guys remember that. And also the way that's always been a trend, like there was a huge backlash when Michael Keaton got cast because he was mostly a comedian up at this point. He was in
I didn't
comedies,
realize
he didn't
that,
do
but
action
yeah.
movies. Yeah, like people were really upset because he was not in action movies before this or really after that. He's mostly a comedic actor. But I think he brings something to it that is like really getting what Tim Burton is trying to make. I love the way, especially this suit, which I think looks incredible on film, but is probably the least practical suit in any movie ever made. Like the bat turn, the way he has to like
It's
extend his
it's
full
quite it's
back
so
to
ridiculous.
look
It's
up
very
because
ridiculous.
he can't remove his neck.
Right.
Yeah.
But the way he finds a physicality, it's a lot like Peter Weller in RoboCop. The way the RoboCop suit was incredibly restrictive, so he had to find a way to create a new form of movement to make the suit look good on films. I think Michael Keaton does the same thing here. He takes the limitations of the suit and like makes it very, very expressive with his like limited range of motion. This thing's a very impressive tone.
Yeah.
Um,
I think he is pretty fun at it, and the there's an innocence to him, like not knowing how to talk to a girl that takes away from the fact that this character is definitely a sociopath, is definitely has been to Epstein's Island. This like Bruce Wayne is on Twitter being like, I think I might be a Republican now. Like now.
Yeah. Sure.
This is as big of a piece of shit as I could imagine for a hero. And then the Batman stuff is just so weird. So this gave him like a softness to it, which I did like, and I thought he was very good at it. I think story wise, his deal with this, where he goes on a single date with a woman, and then is like, well, I can't do this ever again. And then Alfred is like, no, the world has changed. We're all better when this woman is around. She's been in the house for 3 hours. They're like, you're a different person when you're around her. Are you ready to open your heart and finally have we really touched each other
It's
here?
a lot. It's a lot.
It is the most intense first date anyone's ever had.
Yep.
This is the one woman in Gotham.
Yeah, well, that's true,
Yeah,
right?
that's
You gotta lock
true.
it down. Otherwise,
When you're the one woman in Gotham and you give someone a shot, it is a big deal. It's a really big deal.
I
movie, by
loved
the
you
way,
the
did not
moment I
pass the
met you
Bechdel
because
test.
you're the only woman here.
Right. So I had to love you. So I did.
Yeah, I mean that
Yeah, I
part
mean, that's-
is very strange.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's all. I mean, I don't know.
it is another one of those things, and I was going to keep defending this movie, but I know this one, I think Vicky Vale's okay. It is, but something about all four of these, even the Joel Schumacher movies, there's this really weird through line of like the suit as a fetish item, right? Especially Batman Returns. Batman Returns is all about the weird sex lives of superheroes, which is one of the reasons why I love it so much.
Yeah.
So fucking
Weird sex energy. Yeah.
They've got your same kinks.
Batman Forever, Nicole Kidman's character is Chase Meridian, and her whole thing is she just wants to fuck Batman so bad, right?
Right.
There's like this element of like fetish and weird sexual repression and stuff like that, and especially goes through these first two Tim Burton movies. And I really, again, especially kind of comparing this to modern superhero movies, which are completely sexless. There's no sex in modern MCU, right? There's barely any kissing. There's very little romance. But I do like that they at least like kind of were trying to get into like
I-
these
I-
people would be
I
weird
like
and have
that.
weird sex
I don't
lives.
buy
You know?
I don't buy the sexiness of the suit because there's Bruce Wayne smells really bad in there.
Mm.
You're wearing a full
course he does.
body rubber suit. You smell
Yeah.
like ass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Alex. I think that's part of the appeal. The
No.
smell
Yeah, Alex,
is
I
like,
don't think
there's
you're
a
supposed
reason-
to get
Yeah,
this.
like you.
I
what
just
do
don't
you?
think that's how it's supposed
What
to
do
work.
you? I'm pretty sure, especially Michelle Pfeiffer in Batman Returns, a lot of people want to smell that suit. It's a very, very tight, gross
Oh, I hate
leather
this.
suit.
I hate this all so much. I
Um,
shouldn't have said anything.
You
But yeah,
shouldn't
I don't
have,
know.
Alex.
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
why
on
you
you.
went here expecting anything else. Okay, you tried to be like, "I'll get him" because he's all sweaty and stinky in there,
Like-
and then
Yeah.
we had
And you
to
guys were like,
inform
You
you,
mean
Alex.
awesome?
Yeah, you mean smells great, and yeah,
Yeah, like
doesn't-
sell me his bathwater. Great.
who does not love a
That's why he's a
sweaty
billionaire.
boy?
Yeah. Boy.
But yeah,
I,
this.
I should say, I mean, like, to be clear, I liked this some. I thought it was fun in the way that like Tim Burton romps are fun sometimes. At least the old Tim Burton. Once he got computers, he got real hard to watch. But practical effects Tim Burton is a very fun time.
It's
And
very fun.
The
Yeah.
the miniatures and the
the matte
big-
paintings in
the
particular.
matte paintings,
that
the big I loved it. I love that.
the Danny
Yeah.
Danny Elfman score for
Mhm.
this one and Returns are some of the greatest film scores ever made. They're just
I think so,
absolutely
too.
the way they nail like this is especially again kind of comparing this to modern comic book movies is it's very hard to do a good theme. I think like the Marvel in particular really struggles with good iconic music. They have a few pieces here and there, but for like 27 movies, the lack of like really good knowable themes is like it's a real shame. But you look at like what Danny Elfman did with this and Spider-Man. Both of these movies start out with this very recognizable theme that just sound like the characters. The Batman theme, when it plays during the opening scene, it sounds like Batman. The way he's able to capture that is so impressive and unique, and it's awesome. I love the music in this movie so much.
This is such a hard job, I'm realizing, the composer thing, where it's like, hey, can you paint us a picture with just these weird instrument type things that make us know exactly what this movie is about and who these people are?
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
That's wild.
And
Yeah.
Man,
on
it is pretty
top of
wild.
that,
Job.
being told Prince is a huge Batman fan, and he's gonna give you like 8 songs. You need to put some of them in the movie. Like okay, my Danny Elfman, my like la 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 sound, and then you're gonna give me a bunch of Prince songs. Like the juxtaposition there, again, is so awesome. and unique.
Weren't all the Prince songs, or usually the Prince songs were coming like out of boomboxes in the actual
Yeah,
the
they're
movie?
diegetic.
Diegetic,
And then
thank
the
you.
parade. Yeah.
Yeah,
The parade also.
that was a smart way to
You
use
should've
those.
just had. Wait, so why wasn't Prince just in the parade? Like, why couldn't Joker have hired Prince? Like, I would have believed that 100%.
Well, he was a big Batman fan. Maybe he wasn't on the side of evil.
He wasn't, but
He
but
could have
Prince
been like,
was purple.
in a
Like,
bubble.
I feel like it
Dude,
would have
seriously,
worked.
he
quite
really is
well.
more jokester like than he is Batman.
Well,
like,
have you guys seen the
and
video?
the work
for
ethic is
Bat
much higher
Dance?
than Bat. Yeah, he put out 1 million songs.
Yeah.
Batman does jack shit.
Have you guys seen the music video for Bat Dance? Where Prince is half Joker, half Batman. He's wearing like straight down the middle of his face and doing all this fun stuff. It's a really wild, weird music video. I would
Doesn't
definitely
sound
suggest
great.
checking it out.
Okay, we're coming towards the end of our discussion of Batman. I have one question for you. As someone who's not seen all of the superhero movies, are all of their parents dead? Or is there a superhero who's like, oh yeah, my folks live in Duluth and I, visit them sometimes.
Superman.
I tell them I've got a
those, I mean,
day
Superman
job.
had 2 parents
Superman-
that were new after he lost the 2 old ones.
Oh, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. So
Does
his
that
parents
count?
died and then he
Jonathan-
got other parents.
Well,
got new
Jonathan
parents,
Kent
but-
has to die for Superman to be Superman. So he
Okay,
does
so
lose one
He
parent. but has
loses
the
3 out
other.
of 4
Oh, okay.
parents.
But
Oh, okay,
Yeah, I
actually,
mean,
that's
no,
not a
I
very
mean-
good score. Never mind. That's not a good point.
Maybe Aquaman,
Yeah,
that's a bad
Aquaman might
point.
have both parents.
I retract my point. Aquaman does
Uh,
not have his parents. I don't think so.
no,
He's
Aquaman.
king. I mean,
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Aquaman definitely has like a dad, at least in the new movies. The Flash, his mom had to die for him to be the Flash. Peter Parker, his parents died way before he was when he was
Right.
really young. So I mean, yeah, a lot of them.
I mean,
Captain America's parents probably just died of natural old age.
yeah,
but
there
that
wasn't
was
anything
during
tragic.
World War II.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman, her parents are gods, so they're still around.
Oh yeah. Boy, that thing.
So
The wild, I think the wildest, like, so this is again, this is the orphan stage of the hero's journey. The wildest one, I think, has got to be Harry. Has got to be the first, like, Star Wars, though, because like Luke already lost both his parents, right?
Oh right.
Then,
He loses 4 out of 4 parents.
No,
Oh my
technically
God.
5 out of 5, because right, and then he gets Obi-Wan. He's like, "Hey, I got a new father figure."
Oh, yeah,
and then he
that's
dies
true.
like the same day.
Well,
it is
George Lucas
bonkers.
leaned hard into that part.
Well, then
Wow.
he finds out he gets a dad back, but his dad's
Yes.
evil.
And
So
Wow.
it's like
Oh, that's
Who
you know,
also
true.
dies
he's down.
again.
He's down one
And then he
dad,
dies
then he's
again.
plus the dad. Yeah, then he's down to dad again.
He's like,
you know?
"He's dead
Parents.
now." Oh, I mean, he's dead.
Yeah.
All right. Last thoughts on Batman before we move on with our game work.
I liked it. I wasn't allowed to see this when it came out because it was too scary, and I feel like I had this idea where it's going to be too scary for a while, and then I realized that like I'm an adult now and I can handle it. And
Yeah,
so
you
I had a
can't.
good
Yeah, you're
time.
not 5 anymore.
Mm.
Yeah, it's good. No, I don't think I would have liked it at the time, but this is
No.
real good.
All right, Hunter. Last thoughts.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just a really good time. Like I don't know. It's watching Jack Nicholson who gets like I'm pretty sure Jack Nicholson gets like 3 scenes before Michael Keaton gets to say anything in this movie.
Yeah.
Like it's so wildly slanted towards Jack Nicholson's performance, and Jack Nicholson's performance is so fun. I haven't heard. I mean, there's been a lot. Like Alex, you've criticized this movie and the Batman in general a little bit over the course of this episode, but I feel like no one has anything bad to say about all the fun that Jack Nicholson is having.
No.
So in that way, I feel like if you sit down with this movie, you're guaranteed as good of a time as Jack Nicholson is having.
Yeah.
Which
Also,
is a pretty great time.
that's so true. Also, we never have to see him try stand-up comedy.
That's true. We
Which
don't need him
helps
to
a
be a
lot.
stand-up comedian, which is really, really good. Yeah, let's never do that again,
Let's
please.
not do that. We don't
That
have
was
to do
torture.
that. I mean, I would definitely rather watch him fall in a vat of acid than do an open mic.
Yeah, totally.
Every
Oh
time.
my God, that movie.
I know, so bad. Yeah, I mean, I don't like the genre, so like the genre stuff is silly for me. But yeah, it's you. I think it would be hard to have less fun than Jack Nicholson in this movie, and we mentioned this, but like the unhingedness of him, like he has some very funny lines, like the pen and sword, whatever. He has like a few things that are like, that's like a legitimate great joke. You made me laugh.
Mhm.
And then sometimes he just makes sounds. He just says nonsense, and that is even better somehow.
I like to think this canonically does. This is what happens after One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, right?
Yep.
So like this
Yep.
is like,
Oh,
so
yeah.
he gets lobotomized, but then like he gets rehabilitated, I guess, enters business, and then it goes crazy.
Yeah.
with acid.
Yeah. One last thought I want to say. Okay. How long do you think you guys could hang from your fingertips from a cathedral?
Well, any motivation?
Yeah, not dying.
We'll die.
Okay.
Well,
Also, the only humans in New York will also die.
I've
yeah, that's
spent
important.
I've spent some time bouldering at bouldering gyms,
I've
and
tried
I
it
can
before,
tell you,
yeah.
it's not long.
No,
Not
it's
long.
very
That's
short.
it.
It's
Yeah,
so
I don't think I
hard.
could do very long.
And I get that Batman like trains or whatever, but the photographer also hangs by her fingertips for like 4 minutes, and that is so impressive because she's a photographer. She's got one very strong finger, but the rest
Yeah,
of them
well, that's enough.
is that she's just doing all index on her
Yeah.
one hand.
Can I?
And then maybe
can
the
I
thumb
say
for advancing.
a last sort
Please.
of thing about this movie? Like I said, love this movie. I've said a lot of good things, but I
You
think
have.
one of the most interesting things about this movie for me is, and I think this you guys will probably find this fascinating too, is the way this movie comes out in 1989. It's a huge fucking hit. All right. The only comic book movie before this was Superman, also a huge hit. That was in the 70s, right? So there's a very long gap between comic book movies, and in this world now in which comic books have become kings and everything is comic books and everything sucks. It's awful. But what's so fascinating is the way Hollywood will always learn the wrong lessons
Yes.
from everything. They never learn the right lessons. And Batman 89 is the best example for that. So Batman comes out 1989. It's a huge hit. How does Hollywood respond? Do they go and make a bunch of more comic book movies? No, not at all. They think comic books have nothing to do with the success of this movie. What they go, oh, well, Batman was also like on like the radio in the 30s. That's what people really want.
Yeah.
That's how we got the Shadow.
Halloween Batman.
The
Shadow, Darkman, The Phantom, The Rocketeer, Dick Tracy.
Hilarious.
These are the movies that follow Batman. It's not comic book movies. Comic book movies don't come out till like Bryan Singer does X-Men in like 98. It takes that long for them to tie. Oh, maybe people like the comic book thing about Batman. But no, they don't. Immediately, Hollywood's reaction to this movie is to spend like $100 million on Dick Tracy, spend $100 million on The Rocketeer, The Shadow, Darkman, The Phantom. The Phantom was kind of the
all
last
movies
one
that you hear about
back.
every day.
Yeah. But I just love that this is a huge success, and they're like, radio serial adventures. That's what people responded
That's
to.
really
That's
fun.
so
about
funny.
Batman.
All right.
And I think is it because of like the kind of 30s aesthetic of this movie that they thought
That
like,
must be
oh,
why they
people
love
just
it.
love. Yeah, that's why they love it. Give me Dick Tracy on the phone. It's insane. It's
That's so funny.
crazy.
I'm going to let that be the last point. That's a great point. And I'm going to learn the wrong lessons from this and think that I would enjoy a second comic book movie, which I probably wouldn't. All right, let's move on. We have one more thing we got to do. We got to do some business. Actually, no, wait. No, we do other business. We have to rank Batman 1989 on the master list of the best movies of all time of season 5.
Ooh.
Where does this movie fall for y'all?
This is
five?
absolutely better than Apollo 13.
Yes.
Yeah, it's better than Apollo 13.
One above Apollo 13. That's where I would put this.
Well, what's above Apollo 13 right now? Can we get that
One Flew
readout?
Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and then Eternal Sunshine is in third, Edge of Tomorrow is second, and The Third Man is in first.
Yeah, I'd put it right
between
above
Apollo and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
I'll put it above One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So I guess 4th.
You know what? I will too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take that too, Ezra. I agree.
It's my
So
new
2
favorite.
4s and a 5
Jack
from
Nicholson.
you guys. I think it's definitely. I mean, obviously everyone knows it's not as good as Apollo 13. But I did enjoy the. I mean, I didn't plan on it, but I enjoyed it more than Michael Keaton. It was less like annoying in parts than Michael Keaton, and it's way better than Battleship Potemkin. And better than after that, it gets kind of rough. So I think the correct answer for this is 6, which gives us 19. I'm trying to do this without a computer and it's not working.
4 3/4.
Right. All right. Well, you did it. You slid it right in front of Apollo 13.
Yeah, take that, Apollo 13.
It's wrong. It's incorrect. This is going to be another one of those weird things on here, like Battleship Potemkin being an 8th. But this is the new 5th best movie of all time of season 5, Batman 1989.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a great
now
movie.
we have to find out. Ezra, you are picking next. Who are we
Okay.
traveling via, and what are we watching next week?
So I was really torn on this one because there's a lot. I don't know if you know, a lot of people are in Avengers Endgame. None of them are in this movie, but it's like pretty much I could pick
Thank
almost
God.
any movie and get there. Okay. Basically, it was between. So at first I thought, oh, wouldn't it be fun to do a Lego Batman movie. Because that's where actually Billy D. Williams ends up being Two-Face finally.
Yeah. Isn't that
But-
so
Hilarious.
fucked up
Or
that
Batman.
that's
They-
how racist Hollywood was? I mean, this was the 90s, and they were like, absolutely no black Two-Face. I know we allowed you to cast him in the first one, but we will not allow you to do that.
They had to buy out his contract, I think, in order to make that happen. 'Cause
Yeah,
I think in
but-
they had a
Wow.
clause saying there's like,
Christopher
hey,
Walken in Batman Returns, Max Schreck was originally Harvey Dent in the script, and he served almost the exact same function, but they were like, no black Two-Face, so they fired him, brought in
Ow.
Christopher Walken,
Jesus.
just Control F, replace Harvey Dent with Max Schreck, and that's how you get Christopher Walken in Batman Returns.
Jesus.
So here's the thing. So I do love this movie a lot. I've seen it a bunch of times with the kids. But
It's a good one.
It is a good one. But I realized that was going to be my lead, but then I realized there's actually a great connection I can make that circles back around on a movie that I wanted to get after Michael Clayton. So we are actually traveling via Michael Keaton, who has an uncredited role in Out of Sight.
Oh hell yeah!
With the dream that maybe we could go either via Don Cheadle or Samuel L. Jackson after that to Endgame. So,
Ezra, I just want to be clear.
Sight.
I'm a big fan of helping you and helping people in general in this game, especially you, because you've been very generous to everybody. But I do not want to watch Endgame so badly. Like, this is as much as I've been. I would rather watch Anthony's like disgusting body horror movie he picked than watching Endgame.
Hey,
And
I picked the non-disgusting body horror movie. I picked his good intellectual one. I could have done that one.
You've done this weird thing with me as a game player now, where I do not want my night ruined by either of you guys, and that's made it way harder to want to play. So I want to help, but also I desperately want to watch Hunter's movie and my movie, and I don't want to watch your guys' movies because it will. You have guaranteed me in the rest of the season I will have at least 2 nights of this year destroyed, and I am not looking forward to it.
Alex, I'm pretty sure you will honestly like my movie I picked, Dead Ringers.
Well, there's a chance, but I do not like body horror at all. But I don't think
Avengers
this one is body horror so much. All right, but tell me what Out of Sight is, because I've never heard of this.
Oh, how's it? No,
Steven Soderbergh.
Yeah,
Elmore Leonard novel. It's incredible. Michael Keaton plays the same character he played in Jackie Brown in this, because that's also an Elmore Leonard novel, and he uses a lot of the same characters in his books. But yeah, this is a great, incredible, atmospheric. It's one of Steven Soderbergh's best movies, and that guy has made a lot of great fucking movies.
Interesting.
Yeah.
This is
so really fun. Good pick.
It's a great movie. Dialogue. Yeah. Dialogue pops throughout. There's a really great cast. So you got Ving Rhames, Steve Zahn, Jennifer Lopez, George Clooney, Don Cheadle, Catherine Keener.
Brooks.
Oh yeah, Albert Brooks, right? Dennis Farina, Luis Guzman. There's a lot of really it's just
incredible gag involving stairs.
Yes.
This all sounds very fun. Also, this is doing kind of an interesting thing to our list now, where like we got kind of a run of George Clooney doing crimes. We've got now we've got 2 of our top 5 are both Jack Nicholson movies. Like we definitely. This is actually here's my one criticism, and I know I'm not the first one to notice that there are 4 boys on this show. But this is a real dude-heavy top 10.
I know.
This is a bro-y list of films we've been watching, and that makes me a little nervous. It's just kind of interesting, but it's also our second.
You're the ones who should have voted up Princess Diaries higher. That's all I can say.
And to be fair, hey, I just want to say, me and Hunter both really went to town to end the cut, and you two really shit on
I didn't like
the one time we do get.
I wasn't on
really
that.
Good.
It's still my number one of all these movies that we've watched. It's the best movie I've seen in a very long time.
We tried.
To be fair, I did not like that when I watched it, and you guys convinced me that I liked it. So I am open to hearing arguments. But both of those slipped out of the top 10. But other than that, it's still a bro-y lit.
All right,
the top 18.
We got many months
pick
left.
Something very unbro-y for my next Target movie.
I think that might be my goal
together.
for the next chunk is to get away from bro. I mean, and then just to have a superhero movie on here, which is just the Bro Town, Bro Fest. Anyway, okay, but fun. I like George Clooney. Movies with guns on the poster are sometimes fun. I'm open to this. I like crime comedy. It's a great genre.
This is definitely really stoke this one in so that when you watch Endgame, you can watch it in your mind at the same time.
Well, I will just putting this out there. We'll have to do more of the negotiation offline, but I will just say, Hunter, even though Ezra is setting it up to possibly get his movie, I would rather watch your movie, and you are next, and I am after you. So if
Alex, you can pick your movie after this.
I don't want to watch Endgame under any circumstances.
Okay.
If there's a way to get from,
it sounds like I have all the power here, so I love it.
If there's a way to get to your movie in 2, I will I will pick your movie after you pick the one next week, and I will only ask for 1 point because you're also doing me a favor of
Whoa.
not having to watch Endgame.
Well, no,
Whoa.
Alex, you know the fastest way to get to Hunter's movie is, right?
Endgame.
Is it
It's
through
Endgame.
Endgame? Well, so
Yeah,
that means
we
if I
get to
work to get Hunter
Endgame
to his
in one-
game, well, that means that if I work out Hunter to get to his movie, that when we redraw, one of you douchebags might pick Endgame.
Well, no. You can never tell who has done some work in China. So that's all it's going to take is me. Well, I mean, you can't. I find random actors like, oh, they did this random movie, and then we'll get there because Tony Leung is like one of the most popular Chinese actors of all time. All we have to do is get to him, and then we'll be good.
All right. Well, we have to get
through the
moving. We have
Marvel
two more
universe.
things. We have a little bit more business I want to do, and we're already running long. So let's jump in. We have 2 letters to read, and I am very excited about both of them. So let's get into the mailbag. All right. So first of all, this came in a little while ago, but it got sent in my spam, so it took me a second to find it. But this is it's not working. Okay. So I have to figure out where it actually lives since it's not there currently. But this is an email with the subject "Long Deserved Fan Mail," and I think that that title works really well with Double Guilt May. So this is like the not sending us money, but just like telling us compliments version of Double Guilt May. So this is a letter from Amelia, Amelia says, Kevin Bacon's Exquisite Corpse has made me so happy. I needed to send you an email. My mom and I listened to it together when it's a movie she also likes, and we both waited in great anticipation of Battleship Potemkin. I wanted to say I discovered the podcast through the Dante's Cove episode, which is, as you remember that, way back in the day.
Deep cut.
Because I was doing a meticulous research on it quite a few years ago, but hearing other people talk about that show was satisfying enough that I stopped driving myself crazy wondering where the second season was filmed. Read It and Weep is such a great podcast that has brought me a lot of laughter over the years. Thank you so much, Amelia. And I
thank you.
don't always read compliments on the show, but I thought that was really sweet and fun. And also, people, it seems like, have mostly positive things to say about Kevin Bacon's Exquisite Corpse.
Well,
And
I think it's like if this wasn't for you, you found the exit already, and you're not writing in anymore, right? So that's probably it.
Yeah, that's
Just
probably what's
saying.
happened. Well, you took fun out of that. Anyway, thanks, Amelia, and I appreciate you feeling the guilt and writing in and telling us about how you found the show and that you've been listening. So, hi, Amelia. Hi, Amelia's mom, and thanks for listening.
Hi.
Okay, next, we have a new meat buddy to thank. As mentioned previously, Gabriel joined the crew today. Gabriel from Philadelphia, who says, does say Gabe's fine too. If you wanted to. So that's an option on here.
Gabriel from Philadelphia sounds so much like a religious themed TV show. Like angel who's from Philadelphia,
name. It's got like 9 syllables. Yeah.
Gabriel from Philadelphia just sounds
It's like it's like the Emily in Paris like offshoot, I think is probably what it's gonna be.
Much less popular than Emily in Paris, I think. So Gabriel became Meat Buddy. As you know, when you become a Meat Buddy, you have you can basically create your own segment. We have some standards that we go to, and Gabriel says this. One of the options is like we'll just Google your name and find stuff out about you. Gabriel says the Google option is tempting. If you use my full name in quotes, you won't find anybody else who has the same name. Literally, no one exists. I have a very thorough family tree running back to its first use of the name in Bielefeld, Germany. But that fact actually spurs me to request a different segment, to request a wiki hole. And we haven't done one of these in a while, you guys, where I offer this, where I will do an abundance of independent research using exclusively the website Wikipedia and clicking through as many links as I possibly can in the amount of time I allot myself. And then I come to you guys and I just hold it open and show you what was in my wiki hole. So Gabriel asks for a wiki hole based on the Bielefeld conspiracy. Bielefeld. I wish I knew how to say that. It's a German town. Have you heard of the Bielefeld conspiracy?
I have not.
No,
I mean, they're like my favorite post-hardcore band.
Yeah, the costumes are too much for me. So the Bielefeld conspiracy is arguably the first ever internet hoax and it certainly is the most popular hoax in Germany of all time. So we're learning like a German meme essentially today in our wiki hole. That's what I've got in my wiki hole, and I'm pulling it out to show it to you. So, and Gabriel also says before I get into that wiki hole, P.S. I purposefully waited for Double Guilt May. I've been listening for easily 5 years, and I deserve it. I love that. I love that. Okay, so now let me talk about the Bielefeld conspiracy. So, Biofield maybe is actually how you say it? Biofield.
Well,
Yep. I don't know how to read the pronunciation guide I gave myself.
Bielefeld.
Bielefeld? Anyway, it's a satirical conspiracy theory that claims that the city of Bielefeld, Germany, does not exist, but is in fact an illusion propagated by various forces. So you've heard some like this. Whether or not you've heard this one, I believe you if you have. But this was posted originally on a German Usenet forum in 1994, and is so prevalent that it's been mentioned in the city's marketing for years, and was even referenced in a speech by Chancellor Angela Merkel. The theory poses 3 questions to you that you can think about. Number 1, do you know anybody from Bielefeld? 2, have you been to Bielefeld? And 3, do you know anybody who has been to Bielefeld? And the answer, I feel confident for the 4 of us, is no, but that's not the same. So basically what it is that Bielefeld is a city in Germany that is very large, but is this conspiracy theory says it's extremely nondescript, not that memorable, and so people in other cities don't often meet people and are like, oh, you're from Bielefeld. It doesn't happen very often. You may recognize this in many of its other versions, including the conspiracy theory that the Brazilian state of Acre doesn't exist, the Italian region of Malios, the Mexican state of Tijala, the Spanish region of Murcia, Finland, Australia, and Belgian cities of Hasselt and Den, the Chilean city. Anyway, the point is, there's a lot of these. The Dutch
Wyoming,
province
apparently.
of Drenthe.
All of Wyoming.
Yes. And the state of Wyoming, which when I heard this, I was like, oh, this is like the Wyoming thing. And the Wyoming thing, I forgot, was from an episode of Garfield and Friends that first aired in the same year as our Batman movie, 1989. So they did basically a play.
Wait. Please, from now on, can you just say the year of our Batman? The year of our Batman.
Year of our Batman. Yes, please.
Yeah. So it's a pretty standard as far as like internet hoaxes go, but it's interesting because it's so old and it's so popular in one place. The basic story was just like somebody said, met somebody at a college party, and they were like, I'm from Bielefeld, and the other person said, Das gibt's doch gar nicht, which basically means I don't believe you, but also literally translates as that does not exist. So that became the inside joke of that city does not exist. And yeah, in 2012, then German Chancellor Angela Merkel said she had gone to a meeting in the town of Bielefeld, adding, if it exists at all, I had the impression I was there. It's hard for me to say for sure because I don't know that much about Germany, but there's a chance from reading about this that it's a slightly classist conspiracy theory, because essentially it looks like Bielefeld is a pretty working class town, and so the joke is mostly in these like rich universities in more metropolitan areas. And so I suspect the fact that people feel like they don't know anyone from that area might be more about them, or possibly about the fact that people from Bielefeld do not travel as broadly as, say, a college kid from Berlin. That's my hunch. That's not from Wikipedia. That's me editorializing.
What airport is it in America that has all the conspiracies around it? Is it the Denver airport?
Yeah, the Denver airport has a lot of conspiracy theories about it. All of which are kind of funny. One of the hilarious ones about that is like if you look at the runways from above, it makes a swastika, but you have to only look at like 7 of them and not the other 15. So if you just like color in a few, so you have a grid, and you're like, if you color in only the swastika lines, it looks like a swastika. It was like, you could do that to every single airport. You could do that to every piece of roadway if you just don't look at the ones that don't help you.
Is there a way we can make conspiracy theories like just only fun and satirical and not like terrifying? Can we do that?
So I'm generally a little bit skeptical of this because so many things that start out as kind of silly conspiracies become more serious later on. The one kind of really interesting exception right now is Birds Aren't Real, where it's managed to not turn evil and has actually done some really interesting, cool, positive things for the
Say
world.
that until someone sends a bunch of pipe bombs and anthrax to like bird sanctuaries.
Seriously, that's exactly what I'm worried about. But the guy who like started Birds Aren't Real, I've heard a few interviews with him, and he's very funny and like seems really smart. And actually, this feels pretty good. And basically, if you don't know them, Ezra, their thing is like going to bad protests and then showing up holding signs that say birds aren't real, and then it's spiraled from there. But I like a silly counter protest. I think that's a good start. But what I want to do now,
this isn't bad.
What I want to tell you now, though, is you guys are probably wondering what's going on in Bielefeld. What's it actually like if it is real? It is real. We're not a conspiracy theorist, even as a joke. It is the 18th largest city in Germany. I don't know if that's good. Are you hoping for better? It is, most importantly, it is the corporate home of DMG Mori Aktegeigenschaft, one of Germany's largest manufacturers of cutting machines and CNC-controlled lathes. That's kind of interesting.
Ooh.
The town itself was founded in 1214 by Count Hermann of Ravensburg to guard a pass crossing Teutoburg Forest, and was known for its bleach fields in the 19th century because Bielefeld, a bleach field obviously is just a big open space where you leave your linen to get bleached by the sun, which is pretty actually environmentally sound for bleaching. And
that's
it was
way better than just like a whole bag of Clorox.
Just actually bleaching where you do really just like what we do with paper and it has horrible byproducts.
That was the problem with the movie. Joker fell in a bleach field.
That could be it. That's why his face looked like makeup that he could put makeup over. Very mild climate, good public transit. Like Germany, it's home to some cool castles and some awkward history. What else? It's the home of DSC Arminia Bielefeld, Go Blues, a football team in the Bundesliga that has never won any major trophies, but is still in the top league, which is fun. And their rivals are SC Preubenmunster, Go Eagles, who are currently relegated to the 4th tier of German soccer. So it's kind of a lopsided rivalry, which I think is hilarious. To be like, we're in the middle of this rivalry against this team playing 4 divisions below us. Anyway, so that's Bielefeld, and that's the Bielefeld conspiracy, and that, you guys, is the contents of my wiki hole. How do you like being in there?
Your wiki hole. Oh, I love being in your wiki hole, Alex.
Was it nice?
The smell doesn't really do it for me.
The smell's
but
what
I know
people
it
like
does
about
for you,
it, Anthony.
We bought a bottle of smell.
Love weird smells. I mean, we've established that today on this pod.
Yeah. All right. So thank you so much, Gabriel. I hope that was enjoyable. Mostly just hearing me say German words. I hope that was fun enough for you. I'm sure I got one right on accident, but yeah. And now everyone else knows about Bielefeld. I always like finding out about a meme that started in the early 90s. That's fascinating. Like how the first ever webcam was set up to monitor a coffee pot because it was like 10 feet away and the engineers didn't want to walk to see if there was coffee left. There's just some great early internet stuff that's really interesting.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job before it got bad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it might have been bad then too. I didn't look around much. Probably there was some bad stuff.
All right, fair enough.
And also there's still some good parts. How else would we know about Seth Green's Apes Gone?
Yeah, come on.
Good job,
it's
Internet.
Worth it just for that.
Anyway, thank you for donating, Gabriel. Thank you for letting your guilt guide you and finally supporting the show that you've gotten so much free shit out of all these after all these years. I can't believe it took you 5 years to do it. It's ridiculous. It's embarrassing.
Wow.
There's nothing I've enjoyed for 5 years and not supported in some way.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, so if you guys are out there and you're like, wow, that also describes me. I'm a terrible person. You are. And the only way you can deal with that is by getting your double guilt May donation at Metreon.com.
You got to say, you're walking a fine line between like guilt and I guess like anger. You got to just like, it's got to be like, it's I'm disappointed.
We're disappointed, not angry. I mean, you can make someone feel guilty with anger. I don't think there's a rule that it has to be passive aggressive.
It's more fun that way though, right?
It might be more fun for sure.
I think so.
Anyway, I think it's disgusting what you guys are all getting away with out there, and I think you should go to Metreon.com. All right, we have to run. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Here comes the music. Thank you so much for listening to Read and Weep. We'll be back again next week with more Season 5. Next week, we're going to watch more boy movies. Out of Sight, 1998. Look forward to that. Please send us your thoughts. We'd love to hear from you. Podcast at read-weep.com, especially like compliments. That was fun. And if you hate it and you've already left, you're not hearing this part, so it doesn't really matter. And as a reminder, if you want to see whatever Ezra is holding up to his webcam, you can Subscribe to us now. YouTube.com/Alex Falcone. The new episodes are usually there on Friday. It takes a little longer to get the videos up than it does the audio. And we really appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here, Hunter.
Yeah, hey, thank you. Love it.
Thank you, Ezra.
Yeah.
Anthony, what is on that prayer candle?
Freddie Mercury.
Oh, of course, Freddie Mercury.
Okay.
All right, awesome. We'll talk to everybody next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.